bring it up as we go, you know. But really, we're just
Alrighty.
gonna try to chat because we're trying to kill up a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you know, we can
Yeah.
do even a type of thing where we talk maybe a little bit longer and we clip the best parts to begin with,
Yeah.
so it's only like 20, 30 minutes, and then even that gets reeled down to like ultra fine highlights,
Ultra
you know.
fine reels, yeah.
The ultra highlights,
All right.
So,
the tri-lights.
The following program is a lie, and the mainstream media always tells the truth. Everything said here is a psyop and isn't real. The Forecast are modern news and culture entertainers who love Prime Minister Trudeau and do not endorse any conspiracy theories or alternative lifestyles. Do not use this program as evidence against them in court. Global warming is an imminent threat, and you should do your part by being vegan, eating bugs, owning nothing, and being happy. This content is intended for mature audiences only and may contain profane language, references to adult subject matter, and other content inappropriate for minors. Please do not take this program seriously and get your booster injections as soon as possible. Viewer discretion is advised.
Super quickly, guys, so one thing we want to add, this episode is going to be a little bit different, so we're excited to bring a couple changes going forward. Now, I know we've been bringing a lot of changes recently, but that's honestly, change is exciting.
Change is
it's
good.
innovation, okay? But basically, we had a discussion, or we're going to have a discussion towards the end of the video that we would love you guys to be a part of. We're going to be niching down a little bit harder, right? And so we want you guys to be a part of that transition. So in order to help us zero down on the right area, things that you guys want to hear about, if there's a certain style that you guys think you like, let us know. So definitely stay tuned. The end of the episode is going to be very exciting. There's going to be a lot for you guys to get involved with, and we want to hear what you guys have to think, and we would love you guys to be a part of our niching down
yes,
adventure.
indeed. Don't be afraid to comment and stuff, bruh.
Don't be afraid to share your voice. Make your voice
Good or
heard.
bad. Alright, so you want to just fire off with something random or group chat?
Whatever you guys want.
Alright, well, here it's saying it's Elon Musk says the first Neuralink patient can now control a computer mouse with their thoughts.
I actually seen a post like that recently. Oh, on that topic, this is a good way to start because I also saw another post today that was showing a video of, I don't know where it was, but basically Amazon blip in the air or blimp.
My, I seen that.
They had the blimp deploying drones.
Yeah.
And it was in real time. I was like, what is going on?
So-
They're deploying drones, and it's like Elon Musk is working on his delivery blimp, something.
Yeah,
something.
the drones.
I was like, bro, this
Hold
guy's
on,
going to
hold
take
on.
over the world, bro.
So you're saying there's a video of a blimp?
Yeah,
like
bro. It's
one of those big blimps?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
Like it's like a double blimp.
A double blimp.
in
I'ma
one.
show you.
They're like
Side
two
by side.
connected, yeah. And then I literally am watching drones come down from the bottom.
Like
and
mothership
this-
type shit.
Yeah.
Check right here.
literally.
Yo, we'll put this on
No,
the
look.
yeah, we'll just put this on the thing so they can see it as well. What?
I'm saying this guy's trying to start world domination. He's not playing.
This guy is for real?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna kick off anytime soon, but he's definitely trying to have like, this guy's gonna want, the only thing his website needs now is a more,
Someone in the
That's all.
website is like it's a flying loot box.
yeah, dude.
Damn, bro.
Literally
Yeah.
Fortnite, bro. Shoot it down from the sky, bro.
What the heck?
Nah, bro. He's
It looks like literally the freaking Avengers helicarrier, bro.
this
Oh my
guy's working
goodness.
overtime, bro. He's trying to bring revolution right now.
So Jeff Bezos is deploying drones out of
Musk.
Oh, that's,
No,
Oh
that's
wait, no, my
Jeff-
bad.
Yeah,
my
that's
bad.
definitely- yeah,
I was
it's-
thinking Elon Musk owns Amazon. No, I was getting
yeah.
mixed
So
up.
Jeff Bezos was deploying drones out of his blimp. Is it blimp or
Yeah, it's
blip?
a blimp.
Blimp,
I think it's
right?
blimp, yeah.
Blimp,
Who
yeah.
named that thing? Who named it a blimp? Who was
Yo,
like?
I've seen some crazy
who was-
conspiracy theories about blimps,
who was
bro.
looking at it and was like, I hereby name this the
Blimp.
blimp.
Bro, I've heard some crazy stuff about blimps, bro.
What did you hear about blimps?
Bro, I heard like,
Besides the
I don't
one
know
that
if it
burned
was
down.
like the 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s, but like sometime back then when they had like, they're just basically saying how like you don't usually see blimps anymore that often. And back in the day, what it really was like like high class for like rich people. They go and they sit in there and they have like super expensive meals and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and
I heard
really it
about
just
that. And
looks
isn't-
like a balloon
don't
flying
blimps
around.
Use like very little. What's the word? Emissions.
Yeah, if you think about it, because
Yeah,
here's how it
basically.
works. I don't
It's
know
just
why
like a
they
balloon,
canceled
isn't it?
blimps. Yo,
They canceled them.
You don't see many of
Yeah,
them.
that's
I
right.
don't see many.
But I didn't
blimps.
know that
I
they
see
act-
more hot air balloons than blimps. But yo,
Literally.
maybe we can start a thing, right? Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Picture. You know, Justice League.
Yeah.
You know their little
Hey.
station. So we have like a command center.
Literally. Top G didn't think of this.
In the sky.
Cause yo, you know in New York, I was watching a video about the skyscrapers, and they buy literally, I think they call it air rights, where it's like they buy the rights around the building
to
so
the
you
air.
can't go up. Now I'll buy the rights up to the clouds. I'll have a blimp on top of my building floating in cloud,
Yo.
like the cloud heights, and then just
But
The
to answer,
Avengers, bro.
to answer your question though, because yeah, how it works is basically it's like a big helium balloon. I don't know
Yeah.
what type of like chemical it is. Maybe not helium, but we know whatever it was is flammable. So maybe find something else. But basically it just floats around like a hot air balloon, like a thing, and then there's just like, I don't know, fans. You just blows it
Yeah,
around. That's it.
literally. I think there's like
Halas. You
fans
just-
at the bottom.
I mean, you know, it's not really rocket science.
It's not.
I
Yeah.
guess like you just need to make sure you have like you need to have like a what do you call it, like a weather you know,
Forecast.
you know, in One Piece how they Nami, what is she,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
navigator?
I was thinking
you
of-
need to make sure you have a pro navigator. You can't be dealing with no turbulent winds, no thunderstorms.
I feel like it would deal with turbulence better than an airplane.
Bro. You're going down.
Low-key, I feel like it would deal with like
No, you're going
turbulence.
up in flames.
Imagine
The
you-
one time you go up instead of down.
Yeah, you're not crash landing. You're crash ascending.
Yeah,
Into
real
outer space.
Phoenix
But
Airlines.
wait, T.O., I
Didn't they
feel
used
like
to have like War Machine blimps at one point?
War Machine.
War
'Cause
Machine.
I
bro.
don't remember. Like I just
That
see a lot
doesn't
of
make.
stuff.
I
Nah.
don't feel like that's a.
Nah,
something
'cause
like
that's
if
very
anything,
unstrategic.
Tactical
Yeah,
sense.
if anything,
Yeah, it
it
would-
was probably
a
like
big
a
target.
suicide bomber
Big
type
target.
of thing. Imagine you have a
0.5
blimp
kilometer.
full of like explosive gas and you just drive it into something.
Like kamikaze style.
Yeah, they
even
have
at that, like they
kamikaze
see us so
balloons.
far away. Like,
Yeah, it's
they're sending a.
a hot air balloon.
Sniper.
They can
Blow it
slingshot
up.
that. Just
Yo, but I feel like we kind of swayed off topic here. Elon Musk, Neuralink, patients can now control a computer mouse with their thoughts.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm like a super innovative type guy. I'm the
Yeah.
type of guy if I could, I would already have Vision Pro. Now, as far as Neuralinks, now here's the thing. As far as Neuralinks, I don't know about that. There was this crazy show that I watched. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called Altered Carbon. Okay. But first of all, if you haven't seen it, if you guys haven't seen the show, amazing show. You guys should watch it. I think it's on Netflix. But I'll try to like give you guys the synopsis without really spoiling anything, because to this day it's still one of the best shows I've ever watched. It's one of those like where season 1 is better though, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, so the gist of it is that they basically, in the same way that Elon Musk has this Neuralink, you know, some genius developed this type of chip thing that you put inside of you. The main component or the main difference is that chip in the show, it acts as like a storage drive for your consciousness. You understand? So all I'm gonna say without spoiling anything is that that's the main premise. It's not so much like androids, although there's obviously like androids and stuff in the show, but that's not really what it's about. The wow factor is more so like the fact that your consciousness can go onto these chips. So bodies are called sleeves. And we'll just leave it
What
at
was the
that.
show called?
Altered Carbon.
Oh,
But-
there's another
but
show
you're-
like similar concept. I never watched it. It was like a popular show on Netflix at one time, but I forgot the name. And they have like some type of chip in their, I think in their wrist. I think it was like,
The 100?
nah, it was similar. Like it was called like Glass. I don't remember.
What was the premise? Like what?
I didn't watch it, but
Glass
from
Mirror.
what I think that was it. Glass Mirror or something.
I just
Black
seen something
Mirror.
on
Black Mirror
Mirror.
is a whole show with every episode is like some next level like.
Okay, so I don't really remember exactly what it was, but yeah, it was basically along those lines, and it had that concept. I was thinking of watching it, but I didn't.
So yeah, I don't know that I would put a like Elon
Yeah,
Musk's
that's what I was gonna
Neuralink in
ask.
me.
I was gonna say, are you getting? Because you said you would get the Nutra, whatever Apple, whatever Vision Pro. So like, you're saying that you would potentially get the Neuralink or no?
I see. Look, put it this way: I'm the type of guy to put the Neuralink in my dog or something.
So you see, I was gonna say, just like how you said you're very innovative. Me, like since a young age, I also
Play it
used to.
safe, you know.
Yes, I was gonna say because I always used to
That's
think
fucked
about
up,
future
bro.
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I used to
like a
think that
hamster.
stuff was cool. I remember I used to like think like futuristic stuff was cool, and I was like, I can't wait till flying cars. And he was always like, Nah,
Yeah,
bro. Like,
I always hated
we
that
don't want
shit.
that. So me, like, I would also be interested in Vision Pro and yada yada, but like, you know, to a certain extent, like when the Neuralink comes into play, it's like, okay, you know, if I had the money, I would get like a pet chimpanzee.
But yeah,
Put
like
a
with
Neuralink
me,
in his head.
the only the only reason for me it was more so like, yeah, flying. Like for example, 1-2 flying cars, yeah. But it's like a flying city, flying cars,
I'm
like
down.
Not me, I'm not because the
down.
only reason why is with all that stuff comes like 10 times
Yeah,
more
that's the
control.
only thing for
it
me.
comes
100%,
like 10 times.
100%.
That's
We're
like
headed there anyways. It's like here's the thing. I'm not the type of guy that like tries to change the world. You know,
Yeah.
the world is gonna change on its own. I'm a firm believer in just making sure that you make the best move at all times. And it's funny because there's a chessboard here, and as I'm looking at this chessboard, I'm thinking of because this is something that I heard Tate saying. He was like, okay, life it's kind of like chess, and you know he was very appreciative of the fact that he had gone into chess because it taught him a lot. And one of the things that it taught him was that in chess, even if you may be losing, like at all times, grandmasters or like your objective should be to make the best move possible, even though the situation may look bleak.
Deadass.
There is always a best move.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not necessarily saying that I want the world to change. I would much rather that like if the world was the way it was, like maybe in like, I don't know, maybe like the 80s or 90s, I feel like in everybody's head that may have been like the golden era. But I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like the earth was more preserved at that time. We're on the cusp of a lot of things, you know, but that's not realistic.
Yeah,
I would just prefer to be at the top of the wave at all times.
Like me, I would definitely having like a flying car is cooler. Like there's flying car like concept, whatever, that's cool. But me more so is like if everybody just has a flying car, everybody's like
everybody's gonna have a flying
Yeah,
car.
that's what I'm saying.
The thing is, I can see why like the fear factor in all of this for me, and for like if I had to like try to sympathize with what the fear factor would be for a lot of people with the world changing like this and us now having like flying cars and the prospect of like higher control, you know, governmental control and stuff like that is, I would say the biggest fear is people seeing themselves at the bottom of society and fearing that like they will be at the mercy of
That's the thing. That's the thing though.
control.
My thing is
city-
though, in these movies or whatnot, because like I'm just basing off of like what we see in the movies, because that's all
any
we have.
dystopian
But my
movie.
thing is like, there's no like, in these movies, there's no like, oh, I have 10 million, that means now I'm good and I'm not a peasant, so the government's no. Now the government's gonna come for you like even more. Now you gotta take like 30 vaxes, you gotta have like chips and all this and all that. So it's like the only real people that win in these movies are the people that are like hiding in a rock.
You know, and I'm very glad you brought that up because there's a safe way to play it, which is to hide in a rock, right? And to go out and like, no, but like seriously, like if you wanted to play it safe, people at home, go be a farmer.
Yeah.
That's it. Take your family, go find a little plot of land where nobody's trying to fight for it. It's fertile enough you can grow something, start growing a farm, live in the mountains, right? That's the safe way to do it. But there's another way to do it, and it's not so much so, it's not enough to say that you just have to have a lot of money, because a lot of people have money and they're screwed, right? Like you give, like if you give a loser $1 million, he's just like a rich loser, right? What is important, and I think what's inherent with earning $1 million as a man is that you learn a lot along the way and you become a different person. So if your mentality, that's why I think your mentality is very important. And there's one thing that I actually want to talk about with the viewers, and I don't know that I ever mentioned this to you guys before, but I have developed a philosophy. It's called and this is more, technically it's like you can apply this philosophy to like anybody. I say anybody, like men or women, but obviously I more so speak for men because that's the lens that I see life through, right? Yeah. But basically there's a life tunnel, right? And that tunnel is basically from the age of 20 to 23. Now, in a way, everything before that tunnel doesn't matter. Now, in a way, obviously, but the reason why I say that is because once you get to this tunnel, you would have developed yourself to become, or like at that point, you will be like a certain type of person. Your journey up until that point, the 20 years leading to that point, exactly. You have a certain like archetype, you have certain beliefs, you have certain, but the relevance or the significance of this tunnel is that in a very short number of years, right, this tunnel is like the barrel of a gun, right? And you are the bullet. Everything before doesn't really matter, but when that 20-year mark starts, it's like the gun was fired, okay? And now the bullet is going. When you hit 23, the bullet is coming out of the tunnel. It's coming out of the barrel, okay? Whatever direction, trajectory the bullet is traveling in from the time it entered that tunnel or barrel till the time it came out, straight line, right? Your life was looking like this. You were headed in this direction and you hit 20. And then by the time you hit 23, it's going in this direction. So there's a straight line. That is where your life is headed. That is your typical trajectory, right? For you to come off of that path, it's going to be very hard. The same way it is a bullet hard to come off that path. There's gravity, which is always going to slowly and constantly be applying that force, which is going to bring it down a little bit. Wind resistance. There's a large number of factors, but it's very hard for a bullet to stop or to change course. Only a few things can make a bullet change course. A harder, more solid object that can cause a ricochet, but you get what I'm saying, right? So I think to tie back to what we were talking about before, how, it's not enough to just become a millionaire, right? But, if you don't want to be the person who's just living in the mountains, then you need to make sure that, like, again, as a guy, you need to make sure that you are on a good trajectory, right? If you're not in that tunnel yet, then you're good. If you're hearing about this philosophy, then maybe you can be extra careful to make sure that you figure things out in a good enough amount of time so that when you get to that tunnel, you kind of can set yourself up for success. Yeah. But I think it's the point I was trying to make is that making sure that as a guy you're headed on the right track will enable you to reduce your chances of being controlled. Yeah.
That's like 100%.
It took me a long time to get to that point. Yeah. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say was that sounds good on paper, but I'm saying in the real world, if we have flying cars and all this futuristic holograms, it's the only way to actually win is by playing by their rules. We are at this point, you're in the new world order. It's not
But would you not say that's how it is now?
No. Right now, there's a lot of disruptancies and cracks, and there's a lot of flaws in their system. But I'm saying by the point they have flying cars, holograms, flying at light speed, at that point it's over.
I think you're giving the system too much credit.
No. I'm just saying.
I don't hear
as time progresses, the government, let's say they become more oppressive and they slowly try to push people further into a corner. There's going to be those groups of men or families, those strong families that will resist, more and more as the government starts to get more oppressive. So I'm thinking that, at a point where it would be that bad, there would probably be a whole demographic or a whole country where where all the different believers have grouped together to kind of put their powers against the other force. So for that, not necessarily assuming that will happen, but I do still believe there's going to be people in different places who are going to fight back, who are going to have Like they're gonna have strong teams. They're gonna have numbers that will help them. They're gonna have they might have barricaded land that's gonna be like, oh, you can't let these guys enter here. But I'm saying like there's some type of force that fights back, and the force of good is always the strongest force.
100. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Resistance.
But what I'm saying is like when you think of, good thing you said that, because I was just about to say like when you think of a movie like Star Wars, nigga, there's no fighting back against someone that has a beam that could blow your planet up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like at that point, that's why I'm saying when it gets to the point of like flying cars and stuff, it's like at this point they have too much power.
Pause. But I'm very glad you guys brought the analogy here, because let's actually dig into this analogy real quick. You guys brought it out to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Let's say society takes a leap like this.
Yeah.
We're not going, let's remove the intergalactic shit, but we have flying cars and
Yeah.
there's what are they called? The Imperium, what are they called?
Imperial?
The whoever, the bad guys,
The
basically.
Sith?
Yeah.
No, not the Sith. There's like the government. There's like
The
I don't know, I'm not a Star Wars fan. But
I am. It's freaking the Republic. The Republic.
The Republic.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a Republic. You know what I mean? We got
Yeah.
all that shit. Now, yes, as we get closer to that, the cracks that exist in the system will become smaller and smaller. They'll patch a lot of them. But the more dramatic the arena gets, the more dramatic the heroes are. They will be fewer and more dramatic. You get what I'm saying?
And
Picture
I think,
Matrix.
People underestimate the power of will. A human with a strong power of will can change the trajectory of the planet, bro. You don't understand. Just people have this much will. You can have this much will, bro. I'm telling you.
Tell 'em.
You can be an actual superhero, like literally.
Like
People
true
will fear
saying.
you.
But I'm just saying like I feel like a lot of people are looking from like a movie standpoint, and like even like as we're saying, like there's the people that fight back, blah blah blah, but like in these scenarios where the people fight back, they're not fighting back against people that have chips in their arm and TV screens in their house and they're watching every single play.
It's usually like it's man versus machine.
But what I'm saying is like in this scenario, Star Wars, bro, they are watching you every 30 seconds. There's a camera here,
But
there,
I wouldn't even
there.
give the
But I'm just
government
saying
that
like
much benefit of the doubt that they would get that powerful to begin
but
with.
that's what I'm saying. But the whole analogy is if they get to the flying cars world,
Yeah, but
it's
then,
like raps.
Again, digging into that analogy, think of the protagonist. Yes, the Republic has this and this and this, but the protagonist has the Force and they can do this and they have lightsaber.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying in
And it's-
movies.
Well,
Yeah, and I'm
but
saying like,
that
also they're gonna develop inside guys as they go along. Someone who's in the system might even at some point be like, all right, it's too much. He goes over to the other side there and then he's like, oh man, this is the truth I've been looking for my whole life. But besides that, imagine like, let's just put this simple fact on the table. If they have God on their side, who's gonna
Okay, 100%. Yes, that was the only determining factor where I was like, that's like, of course, like, that's the only way they went. Now, what I was saying is like, come to like, for example, we're thinking of the Star Wars world, blah, 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 flying cars, flying ships that move at this speed and blow this up, blah, 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 lightsabers, da, da, da. Now, what we're not taking into consideration is like, yeah, there's superheroes that can get similar, but like that costs millions, if not billions of dollars, which the government controls, which the only way to get it is going through them.
Put it this way. I wouldn't like this is, and what I'm about to tell you, I would tell all of society. I would say don't fear the powers that be. Rather, believe in yourself or the power within
100%.
you.
But I wasn't.
There's no buts. Let's
No.
not. let's start
I
with the
was
buts.
just saying.
Let's
No.
be positive.
I was just saying these are the reasons I wouldn't want to go in there. But if we were headed there, it is what
We're
it
headed
is.
there. Let's be
No.
real. We're headed
Flying
there.
cars
We're
and the
headed
flying
there.
city.
Bro,
I don't know
we're
about all
headed
that.
there.
flying cities?
I don't know about all that.
The lower
Okay,
class people live on the surface.
Dubai is making a floating city. They're making they're making a floating city called the Hexagon. It's
Okay,
gonna
but
be
it's-
pause. Hold on. We're talking about this reality that you think is further than it really is. Hold on. So, because places like this, Dubai and shit, they're gonna be the places that are gonna make this shit a reality. Because if you really think about it, in all of the movies that you've seen, all of these dystopian movies. Now, I may be wrong, but are the elites not living their best life in the city wherever they are, and then right outside of that heaven is the desert every time? Isn't it always the desert? So I'm just saying, I think we're headed towards that reality. There's a lot of wealthy Arabs that don't like to be on social media. There's a lot more rich people in the world than you think. And there's a high concentration of them over there. They're trying to make a lot of different cities. They're going to make, in California, Apple, they have, what is it? The Apple Park? Was it? I don't know. They have this like circle building
In California?
in California. It's like an Apple headquarters or something. It's like a big circle. Anyways, Dubai is making something that kind of looks like that, but imagine elevated almost to the height of Burj Khalifa and going like all around it.
Yeah,
They're gonna make that.
Basically,
So what
on a
I'm
pedestal.
What I'm getting to is that there's gonna be a lot of different societies that are gonna be made to be like these movies, like this big glass wall that they're making. The idea of it is like if you were in there, you wouldn't need cars because you can just everything is everywhere and there's like they're making that shit for real.
That's what I was gonna say. So I was like, I was gonna say even if, let's say for example, we don't necessarily reach flying cars and all the yada yada, but then the realistic version of that
that's what I'm saying though. Like that's what I'm saying though. I'm saying
elevated.
I wouldn't be
cities.
surprised if their plan is to intentionally incite a third world war to decimate majority of the livable space on the planet. Because if you really think about it, how else are you going to be able to control the entire planet?
Well,
you have to make it in such a way where there's only a few places where people want to be.
Yeah.
And all of your little celebrities and everybody goes there and everybody else wants to be there.
Everywhere else is like
and
Mad
everywhere
Max.
else is like,
that's definitely their goal. But I was just saying that like even with the floating cities in Dubai, it's not like the city's actually floating. Like of course there's pillars like
when I say floating, I mean like on the ocean.
But that's what I'm
They're
floating.
making a floating.
Okay, that's like not Star Wars though. I'm literally talking about I'm talking about flying ships that go into a flying building that are like
intergalactic space travel, because all of that
but I'm saying like outside of going into other galaxies. But like for example, what's that thing for Robopunk or
RoboCop?
No, like something punk. It's like
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Like when you think of Cyberpunk and it's just robotic,
But
niggas
at
is
the same time, I feel like a reality on that scale would need to be larger. Like we would have to go into galactic.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like that's not real. Like that is so like futuristic that it's like not even realistic. That's my point. Like I don't think there's gonna be an abundance of like flying cars just flying around. Like I don't think that's gonna be a thing because it's just unideal, not realistic.
Well, imagine if you told 100 years ago, if you told some mesquite little farmer that her husband, and every other person on the planet was gonna be whipping around in a metal beast that was faster than the car. They would have said, "Bro, you're stupid."
I would say this. Any evolution could be possible. I just think that to get to from one advancement to the next is gonna take longer each time.
Now, that's the same thing. Me, Ice, and Z have had like a similar convo. And that's basically the same thing he's saying, where he's saying like, in the next like 10 years, I think he said 10, 20, somewhere around there. He's like, we'll have functioning proper Iron Man suits. And I'm like, bro, we're not going to have that.
Understand this.
Listen, I know what you're saying, but I'm talking about your legs can move. You can fly like Iron Man. No,
understand this.
No,
understand
a beam that shoots out of your chest that's hot enough that won't burn you to crisp.
You might not, maybe not exactly Iron Man, but exoskeleton suits.
I know that's real.
Exist.
That's what I'm saying. A realistic version, but not Iron Man flying around like this.
To be fair,
we're gonna get there.
Star Wars, Iron Man, like all these movies, they have unrealistic factors.
That's what I'm saying.
So the realistic version, like we're not gonna have unrealistic factors because they're unrealistic, but a realistic version of what we're seeing.
Because maybe you haven't considered this: is that every time we make a technological advancement or a technological jump, the gap to the next jump gets smaller. The jump from Ice Age to fire was very long.
Mm-hmm.
Then from fire, they got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Now with AI, it's going to get shorter and shorter. In a very short amount of time, somebody will be able to have a concept and within a year there's a new thing.
My thing is, I just don't
saw
think the
hovering-
government. I just don't think the government would let it get there. Like, imagine we're not even allowed to cure cancer. We're not allowed to have
want it to get
water-powered cars, which is way less than a flying car or a freaking Iron Man. They're not gonna let it get
Actually
You
there.
saw
have
a
to think
video
about what
recently.
makes people money. Curing cancer does not make people money.
That's true.
A car makes people money. An innovation of a car, a flying car, makes
Actually
people
have
money.
cancer cures. But anyways, I seen a video recently. It was like black and white. I think it was an old video, but like there was a guy in a UFO kind of vehicle with like little wheels for landing, I guess. But he was floating. He was hovering. And he was driving that, like he was hovering
Yeah.
over the ground. The guy's just recording.
Like, was it like the
I was
80s
like, I
or-
assume that this thing can take off and like fly, but even still, like I don't think I've ever seen something hover effectively.
I feel like there's a lot of technology that they have suppressed.
Yeah.
That's what I was
general
gonna say. What
public.
you said when you said something to the effect when the government reaches a new advancement. I was gonna say the first thing that happens when the government reaches a new advancement is they hide it from us.
Yeah, the first thing they do is they send it to the military. They say, okay, so we just developed this new thing. Can we blow people up with this? Let's figure that
First
out.
question, can
Guys,
we blow
guys. Wait, what are you saying?
I was gonna say, just before we tell the general public, we need to figure out if we can tear people up with this thing.
Yeah, definitely a sketchy scenario, but that was a cool topic. On the topic of like wars and military and blah 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 whatnot, I saw this post the other day. It says we're 1 year away from 2025, and the United States have just attacked Yemen. Everything is going as planned, and you can see like Black Ops 1 or 2 or whatever the hell this is.
The trauma face. He's like,
Yeah, and like basically like
bro.
all I'm saying is that I think it's imperative for people to recognize that the powers that be, it's not your job to focus on those things because it's already leagues out of your control.
Yeah.
You knowing that there's a group of people out there somewhere that in some way, shape, or form, through the mysterious butterfly effect, are able to control things on a global scale and whatever. You knowing that, and like, it's arguably useless information. What is more like what's more imperative for you to know and what's the word I'm looking for?
To worry about.
To concern yourself with is figuring out how
To adapt.
you can always be making the best move that you can at all times. Because yes, if we look at the chessboard, knowing that there's an opposing king or queen or just an opposing force out there somewhere that can completely obliterate you. Let's say you're a pawn. That's not something that's going to help you. But you as a pawn thinking, okay, I'm a pawn right now, but what's the best move that I can make to get to the end zone? Because once a pawn reaches the end zone, they can become anything. A pawn can become a king, a queen, a rook, whatever. So I think if society, or if a large number of people, and if I think we get it even more specific, I think if the up and coming men focus on making the best move that they can at all times for themselves, indirectly they will be making the best move for the planet, for their family, their neighborhood, their community, their country, whatever the case is.
Yeah, we reach a time now where, like, I believe, strong men with strong family values and strong religious beliefs, because God is real and you need to believe that. I feel like we should come together and start to form an Avengers, because the government's getting out of hand.
Like these guys said, they're going to turn into the Republic, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be dealing with the Republic very soon. We need Jedis.
Literally.
We need Jedis.
they're
Are
already
you-
wiping off the Jedis, bro. They got
Awaken the
Master
Jedi
Yoda
within you.
freaking
The Force be
agitate,
with
bro.
you.
But yeah, another thing
Talk
is
to us.
according to new reports, many immigrants are leaving Canada within years of arriving.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, I was about to
Canada's-
say, bro, if they have a new world war, Canada might as well make a comeback, go be the peacekeepers, end it, make some good immigrations back to Canada and stop doing BS.
Not even
Why,
because,
do you
like,
guys,
yo,
why do you guys think they go
Because
home?
this is the thing. They
'Cause
came
I
here.
think-
I've seen videos. They came here, and there's literally videos of them explaining, like, bro, we came here. It's not what we expected.
Yeah, I think
it's
they're-
more expensive than our actual life back home. It's like more treacherous, more trenchy
Yeah, what I
than
was gonna
freaking
say is,
living
yeah,
in India.
I was saying, like, they're probably going back home. This is like this whole statistic. I had assumed this is only a recent thing, Because in the past, I feel like Canada was a good place they would come and be happy and like, oh yeah, you know, early 2000s, Canada was cupcakes and butterflies. But now it's just prices are up, life is boring, everybody's, you know, stressed out and like.
Bro, Justin Trudeau's
ruining the country.
The biggest failure. Like, how can the whole country be telling you that we're going to shit? Like, and he's not solving anything. Like,
to sum it up, you know what I think it is? To sum up what you guys just said in few words, the reason why foreigners come here and make a hard U-turn within the first 5 years is because they quickly realize that the North American dream is dead. It's not safe. It's not accurate to call it just the American dream, because it is the American dream that is what it is. But really, people are coming to Canada and the US and basically just the West. And it's all really the same cookie, bro.
I agree with that.
That dream is dead. People
Literally.
thought that the dream is still alive, and you know, because of Hollywood, like I heard somebody just saying this the other day, the reason why the whole world is in such a vice grip as far as like what, you know how the whole world now is getting like, everybody's kind of getting on the same page.
yeah,
kinda.
literally.
Yeah.
It's because of the US. It's because of and people don't like to hear this. People don't like to keep hearing that, like the West being vilified, but like they
Are the villains, bro.
they basically developed this deadly weapon called Hollywood. And then through this weapon, they started pumping all of their ideals and all of their agendas. And this basically went out to the whole world. And that's why I feel like it's getting harder and harder to feel like you can get out from under the powers that be, because in a way, the further down the line you get, it starts to feel as though like we really are inching towards a one world
Republic.
you know, like a republic.
Literally.
A Star Wars republic.
It's definitely an accurate statement. The American dream is dead.
And
And you know the way, like you said, how
American
Hollywood.
dream's actually a nightmare.
And literally, it's American nightmare. But like how you said, basically Hollywood was kind of their farm to bring everything to the West, and you know, like
Not
for
bring
example,
everything to the West, pump everything out from the West. That's
Uh-huh.
what
Yeah,
Hollywood was.
because
So one sec, because basically I was online yesterday and I just seen something in the comment section. So it was this black girl in America. She's just posting content, whatever. She was eating a burger. It was like a triple patty or quadruple patty burger or something. And you know, just simply off that fact, I go into the comments and there was a whole bunch of African people. I assume she has a lot of African fan base. But they're in the comments like, oh, I need to come to America. I need to come. I'm like, bro, for a triple patty burger that's synthetic, probably nah, bro. Trust me, the American dream is dead. It's not what
literally,
you
I
say
seen
you
this. I
are.
seen this post.
Save
it was
yourself, bro.
this like this hijabi girl from I don't know where, but she was a international student, and she was basically posting about like her life in America, being a student, and like, you know, she was stressing, blah blah blah. And basically one of the points she made is, she's like, one of the things I learned when coming to America is that America is not what's the word? What did she say? America is not
Ideal.
no. What do they America is not something about a dream. Like, what do they say about America? Like the dream,
Promised land, like a dream.
dreamland, or
land.
what do they call that? Whatever.
The promised
Basically
land.
saying that America is not like
The oasis that people think it is.
basically, yeah, like the oasis dreamland that people think it is. It's basically just a tool to get you to where you're trying to go. But yeah, like I worded it
America
horribly.
is like a global 9 to 5.
The way she worded it was like
Money and dip.
way better, but
Yeah, everybody wants
Instagram's
everybody like, you know,
trash.
it's funny that you made that analogy, because like if America is the 9 to 5, it's like everybody needs to go to work, but nobody wants to be there.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to be there.
Reach that point.
Damn.
Yeah, so another thing, I guess we run through a few more things. Funny. It's literally you after realizing that working until age 65 so you can maybe retire with a pension is a scam. It's the guy waking up from the Matrix.
Yo, that movie, I watched it recently, like a month or two ago. Oh, we all watched it.
Yeah.
That like the more like every time I watch that movie again, and like I'm a couple years further down the line, it just gets more. It just hits harder. It hits harder and harder and harder, because it's like, who really wrote that movie? Because he must have been in on.
He must
shit,
have
bro.
known something, bro.
He must have been in on shit, bro.
Matrix.
The Matrix.
Oh,
Literally.
I'm saying, bro, this. I feel like certain movies might have involved some elites to create.
100%.
Like, there's just some ideals.
Bro, they're
and
laughing in our
logic
face,
in
bro.
there that's like. But speaking of technology,
Literally, because
and
if you
old
tell
stuff,
someone that like this type of stuff is going on now, like what's the number one thing they're probably gonna tell you? Like, what the hell do you think this is, the Matrix or something? And
That's
it's
what they
like,
want you to say.
You know, that's what they wanted you to say. But anyways,
like, no, people
look at
aren't
this.
freaking sitting in capsules yet. You know, maybe in a couple centuries, but
Anyways.
it's the idea that you're missing.
Check this video where it's like basically about like,
The monowheel.
yeah, it's basically like stuff from like the 50s and 60s that we just don't have.
And it's funny, I just seen a video, like a recent video from like a couple days ago. Like a guy just posted it. He had like something basically like that.
Yeah.
And it was like probably posted within this week. It's like they still exist, but it's not to say that this is a practical vehicle that we need to have on the roads.
But like, where is
You
it?
know,
There's literally.
I've seen better examples though of what you're saying, but yeah, there's a lot of technology
Yeah.
that they killed intentionally.
Literally,
Yeah.
there's
You know
the,
that there's ways to naturally harness electricity.
Yeah, with
and
the
a lot of buildings and structures.
The dome.
Yeah, were built in order to naturally harness those things. So I don't know if you guys know about this, and it seems as though every time we sit down, we go down a little conspiracy rabbit hole. But there was a civilization. What were they called?
The Aztecs?
No, the Tartarians. Is that
Tartarians,
it?
yeah.
Tartarians. So there was a civilization, and they had basically figured out the secrets of the earth, you can say. They basically figured out how to harness natural energy. They had built a lot of structures that were able to naturally harness electricity, like in the atmosphere. I couldn't even properly like explain it to you guys. They had a type of fireplace. It's hard to explain. A type of fireplace that, using this type of atmospheric energy that they were harnessing, was able to evenly heat up the whole room without an actual flame. I can't even describe
Yeah.
to you the technologies that they snuffed out. So
Literally.
some buildings, and a lot of buildings are still around to this day. This will be like a very wealthy person's house that was made a long time ago. Or like some, what do you call them? Like government buildings or stuff. You'll notice that a lot of the government buildings, they have more of that, like, you know, artsy architecture.
Yeah.
But it's deeper than that. A lot of like the insides in some of these buildings, you still will see remnants of older technology that they decided we cannot have this mainstream.
And really, the way I see it is that, you know, let's say the Tartarians, for example, they've probably reached this point of intelligence where it's like everything was, what do they call that? How they say the earth is
Like self-sustainable.
self-sustainable. They reached a point of self-sustainability where like everyone was just living free, probably just chilling.
Exactly.
And then this new era was basically the era of consumption and consumers. So the government had to delete all that technology.
And that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Because when I was doing my research, they said that this society, they beat the game.
Yeah.
And so they were focused on issues like world peace and other things because they were good.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were good.
100%.
But some guy out there, and I can tell you guys right now, if my history serves me well, it was the owner of these iron companies, these metal companies, the owner of these steel companies, and the owners of these coal companies, right? They basically had a different agenda because they wanted the world to run off of their backs. Train tracks, coal, power, like, you know, they wanted everything because they saw another way through their pockets.
That's what's crazy to me is like, imagine like a group of like 4 or 5 people just sitting down and saying, we want to rule the whole world. Like, how selfish of a person. Like,
Well, that's the thing. And when people sit down and they talk about it and they try to rationalize with these elites and they try to say, well, okay, well, why would a person do that? Well, you're a good person. You were born into the thick of it. You know, you know, a lot of these people, they don't even have a regular childhood. They are born into the elite shit.
Yeah.
They don't even, you know what I mean? A lot of the things that a
Literally.
regular person can get bliss from and happiness and all that shit, they can't even have that. So what do they get off on? Really weird sexual shit and freaking controlling people.
Yeah.
They can't do normal shit anymore. They can't.
Because I was gonna say they probably reached a point where everyone was doing, you know, everyone had a very minimal list of things to do in the day, and then it was just spirituality, just, you know, praying to God or whatever. And then these few guys who are just bored, they're like, bro, we need to do something.
It's not that guys were bored. Like if you really want to go that far out, it's like there's good and there's evil, you know? There's always two forces.
Literally.
Like the same way there's God and there's the devil. Then if humans are like a little puddle in the middle, then there's good humans, there's bad humans. And that's just the way it goes, you know?
Yeah.
We're going to have so much shit to cut out because I already know we're going on an hour right now.
Are you guys
Say
trying to end
word.
it, or you guys want to
I
continue?
was thinking like we're probably just passing half
Do a
hour.
time check. I'm curious. Somebody check. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to guess 49 minutes.
49.
I'd say we're probably pushing around 55 to an hour.
What if every single episode was some form of business, connection, networking, and or personal development? So, for example, our next episode, we get these guys.
Yeah.
And we sit here and we talk about business, right? Their insight, how they grew their Instagrams, this, that, whatever. Your insight on what do you think it's important for a guy to succeed? How do you succeed about? And then we just
Do that for everybody.
I think that should be our thing, because like
So just like basically, so it's kind of like there's this YouTube channel where it's like, well, what would you eat before you die? And it's basically the same questions every single time, right? So it's like basically you just get
In a
business
way,
people,
yes.
and it's
In
just
a
like,
way, yes.
how do you succeed? How do
Exactly.
you
You
like
also
like
mentioned-
base questions and then whatever else.
exactly. So that way, the person who's coming on is always the person who's providing something new.
Yeah.
And the common denominator, which is us, we provide the style,
Yeah.
the sauce.
Yeah,
Because I think us trying to come up, like we're not a fucking TV show. You know what I mean? Like we're here
getting
trying
there.
to.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
what I
goal.
was thinking. Like to a certain extent, I was thinking like, you know, we have this whole professional persona that we got for the podcast, but I'm like, you know, at this point, do people at our level when we're just coming up and we need to really give them something to be interested about? Would they rather see professional us, or would they rather just see us?
Exactly.
On that note, though, I do. Of course, this is like end goal, but like I do want to like of course, this is like not really off topic, but it is. But like, we definitely got to get like definitely a few like realistic show episodes where it's like we're in a real ass news outlet and we.
I'm down.
Like
Yeah,
of
we
course,
out
when
there,
this
I'm
is
down.
definitely when we're like rich and we could afford to put it on TV, because like I just want to be those guys.
You also
Yeah, I'm
mentioned
down.
earlier that we have a habit of mixing in conspiracies in the podcast. Honestly, I would like to continue doing the conspiracy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I so that's another thing, right? So our segments, like instead of having a conspiracy segment, like we're sitting here with a guy, we gauge the guys out, but like maybe that's our mix.
Yeah.
Maybe that's our mix. So we have the same questions, but then maybe something just came up, some conspiracy thing just came up. We talk about it, you know.
100%.
I think we should try that out. Going forward, we just decide that, like, you know what? Every episode we try, let's see how it goes.
Yeah,
Because
and-
I already have 3 people. There's Bilal, because in a way we are just trying to do our own business. It's just that we don't really have anything to show for it yet, so we can't really talk about it. But has worked at his dad's
Yeah.
thing and whatever, so boom, and he has a good like online face, and you know he's verified and shit. Boom. Then there's these. That's another one. Then there's so the we're working. Yeah, and
What I wanted to say is like, for this episode, like the viewers, if you made it here, then yeah, like just tell us what was your favorite topic out of everything we covered, so we can get a good idea of like what you guys.
Yeah, and honestly, like, yo, if you guys are watching, if you are someone who's watching and who's like, okay, I kind of like what they got going on, if there's something that you actually would like us to talk about, like, oh, if they talked about this thing that I'm interested in, that would be so cool. Like, you should just say that.
Literally,
We could go do our research if we need to. You know, we can bring a podcast for the viewers, you know, based off requests.
Headphones now.
Ma che le cuore buchi, si scatta! Hush! Toma, 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 toma! Toma! Luca, tu!
You again?
No, no!